And listen to that thrash. It sounds so good. Hey guys, welcome. Or welcome back to Proper Chuffed. My name's Hilton and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But that is half the fun of this, isn't it? If you are new here, I hope you enjoyed this content, and if you do, please consider subscribing. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back guys. It's good to see you again. I hope you've had a fantastic Christmas this year with your friends or your family, and as we welcome 2024 shortly, I just want to wish you guys all the very best. I hope it's a fantastic year for you and your model railroad adventures. I think like many other model railroaders this Christmas, I had quite a few things on my list which I was kind of hoping for. My partner decided to do the outstanding for me, and she bought me pretty much the most expensive one on the list, and I did not expect it at all. I let out quite a few happy squeals when I opened it up and realized what it was. So I'm incredibly excited to show you guys this Bachmann Class 37. I've recently sort of discovered diesels. I'm not more of a steam guy, I guess, technically, but I'm finding myself more and more in love with British diesels. So this was an exquisite model to open up and to now put on the layout. The fantastic thing is it's named Dounreay, which is a Scottish power plant, I believe the north of Scotland, and it's in that engineer's grey-yellow sort of colour. So I think it'll fit nicely into my Highland layout. And I think before I dive into the actual review itself, and it will be my first review, so please bear with me, I think it's worth noting that Accurascale did bring out a Class 37 this year, and I know that was incredibly well received by the model railroading community at large. So if you are sort of torn between one and the other, hopefully this closer look at the Bachmann Class 37 might help you make up your mind if you're on the fence about either of the two. In my opinion, this is an absolutely exquisite model with fantastic sound. So, you know, my bet's on this. But again, I haven't opened up an Accurascale or seen one in person, so maybe a little bit biased. Anyways, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get this unboxed and take a look. Right, so let's take a look at this Bachmann Class 37. Absolutely outstanding locomotive. Obviously it comes in the new Bachmann packaging, something I'm not used to seeing, so quite exciting. But let's unbox it and take a look at what's inside. So inside the box we obviously get some DCC sound fitted information from Bachmann, and a list of all the options for the sound on the side and also different functionalities. So we'll take a look at this and go through it a little bit later. The second thing we have is obviously an owner's manual, just to give you a bit more information on the locomotive, how to service it, and how to add on all the little extra fiddly bits. What I've already done is I've fitted the snow plows to it. I think they make Class 37s look 10 times cooler in my opinion, and given that it's a Scottish locomotive, obviously it's going to be doing a lot of work in winter, so it makes sense to have those fitted to it. There's obviously just DCC fitting guides and all sorts of information about opening up the loco, and also how to run it on DC with sound and lights, which is fantastic. Right, so what's in the box? Let's take a look. So the first thing you're going to notice is these etched nameplates and BR arrows, which is quite cool. I would love to fit those at some point, carefully obviously. Obviously the name is Dounreay, which is the Scottish power plant in the north of Scotland. And inside the bag of extras, there's a lot of extras going on here. Tiny little fiddly bits that I would love to fit. Very gingerly, of course. Got to be quite careful about that. That would be my first time doing this. So I'll look at doing that a little bit later, I think. And now, the moment of truth. Now, I obviously opened this up on Christmas Day, so let's unbox it again. Very well packaged by Bachmann here. I'm very impressed by this and the loco itself. What a beast. This is something else, honestly. I am incredibly impressed by this. Just the weight alone is something to be truly admired. All sorts of detailing going on all across the locomotive. I've been able to watch a couple sort of videos looking at the Accurascale one, and to be honest with you, to my sort of newbie eye, I can't say I see too much of a difference, to be honest with you. I know that there are channels out there that take a look at these things in a lot more depth and are able to sort of pinpoint those small things, but to me, it's absolutely perfect. Yeah, there's detailing all the way across, even inside the engine bay. I think there's a light system inside. A little bit later, we'll take a look inside the cockpit, or what do you call it? The cab. The cab. We'll take a look inside the cab and see what's going on there. From what I can see, a hell of a lot of detail. As I did mention, I've fitted the snow plows to the front of it here, which I think looks quite nice. And yeah, there's a sort of a fitted fan in there. I know on the SFX model, that fan actually does move, which is very nice. But I'm really appreciating the fine mesh detail that's gone over the fan up the top here. All sorts of kind of crazy small details that I just keep picking up more and more as I go. However, as per my usual sort of format, I think what we should do is switch on the lights and take a look at it in a little bit closer detail. So let's do that now. In the early 1960s, the Class 37 rolled onto the tracks, a product of English Electric's ingenuity. Designed to be versatile and powerful, these diesel-electric locomotives quickly became the backbone of British railways. As the 70s dawned, the introduction of the top system brought about reclassification of these locomotives. The 37.0, 37.3, 37.4 and 37.5 were born, each adapted for different tasks. With the sectorization of British Rail, Class 37s found themselves assigned to different regions and tasks, and in Scotland, they formed a special connection with the challenging terrains and picturesque routes. As the years rolled on, many 37s faced withdrawal from mainline service. However, a significant number found refuge in preservation, captivating enthusiasts and tourists on heritage railways. In the 21st century, some Class 37s underwent refurbishment, embracing modern technology to extend their operational life. The Class 37-7s emerged, a bridge between the past and present. The Class 37 locomotive established itself as a common presence among various segments of British Railways network. Notably, it played a pivotal role in the primary motive power for intercity services in East Anglia and Scotland. Its reliability extended to secondary and interregional services over the course of several years. Today, a significant number of 37s continue to be in active service, undertaking responsibilities such as freight transportation, maintenance work, and the movement of empty stock. Among railway enthusiasts, these locomotives have earned the affectionate moniker tractors, a name inspired by the unmistakable resemblance in the engine sounds of the Class 37 to that of a tractor. Today, the Class 37 stands as a testament to an era gone by, a symbol of resilience, adaptability, and the undying spirit of the British Railways. Their story, etched in the tracks of time, continues to captivate rail enthusiasts across the United Kingdom and globally. So let's take a look at this Class 37 in a bit more detail. At the front here, we've got sprung buffers, which is obviously beautiful. They are metal, which is brilliant. The snowplow, once fitted, unfortunately limits your use of coupling to trains, which I think is a bit of a short-sighted move on Bachmann's part, unfortunately. Because if you do want to give it that sort of Highland snowplow look, you are essentially unable to pull trains on both sides. So what I might do is take off a snowplow on one of the ends so that I can still couple up to some freight. All 5 of these lights do work on the front here, and you can just see the fine details on the hood, these doors that open up here. Unfortunately, they don't actually open up, but you can see that the couplings and hooks and stuff on those are very finely detailed, as well as on the sides here with the ventilation, incredibly fine detail. I think that this molding is absolutely beautiful. One thing I'm really, really impressed with is the glass on the front of the locomotive and the sides. I think it looks incredibly realistic. with a bit of a shine on it. It just bounces off and reflects beautifully. So I'm really impressed with that. Separately fitted handrails here on the sides. The door doesn't open, but that's not a problem really. Once you see the detail in the cab, you'll just see how much detail Bachmann have paid attention to here, and I think that's brilliant. So again, now we take a look at the mesh on top of the fan at the top here. You can just see how thin that is, and it feels like it's metal. I'm not too sure, but it does feel like it's metal. Here on the sides, also more ventilation, incredibly fine detail. There's the name Dounreay. All these little windows along the sides of the engine, or the midship, I guess. I don't know what you call it. Those do light up, so you can see the insides, although there's not all that much to see, but a nice feature nonetheless. Looking at the roof here, you can see a lot of really fine detail and riveting all along the top, which just adds to the overall effect. So taking a look at the side profile of the locomotive here, you can see that there are actually some real chain link chains fitted down here, which I just think looks so cool. And fortunately, these don't interfere at all with the running of the locomotive. Doesn't get caught up in the bogie or anything like that. So that can stay, and it's fitted from factory. There are a ton of optional extras to add to this. I think I probably won't be fitting them, as they would interrupt with most of the running. With the snowplow fitted, unfortunately, it does mean that most of those little brake pipes and stuff that attaches to the front, I'm unable to attach them essentially. So mine will stay clean. There's also a ton of extras that go underneath the whole thing, which is very cool. And just looking in a bit more detail here, you can see there's small gauges on each of these bogies here, which is quite nice. Overall, just really impressed. Obviously, I think weathering would go the extra mile and really bring this loco to life. I would be absolutely terrified to weather something like this at this price. So once I've got a bit more experience, maybe I'll tackle it in a couple years. But for now, she'll stay as clean as she came out of the factory. And then just looking at her other end, obviously Class 37 is pretty much the same on each side, although I probably have upset a few people by saying something like that. But to my eye, they're pretty similar, despite the fan on the one side. But yeah, you can basically just get a very big picture of what you're getting in for if you're considering one of these. I think it is absolutely stunning. And I think this engineer's grey livery is really, really pretty. I didn't actually know that it had this orange stripe at the top, and I think that comes together very nicely and brings it all together beautifully. It's also there on the hood of the cab, which looks quite pretty. There's also a small, finely detailed little red ring there. I'm not sure what that is used for. I'm probably going to get a serious education in the comments, but please forgive me, I'm not a diesel expert. This is, though, a stunning piece of kit. And then just taking a look at her closer from the front, just so you've got that headlong view. I do think that the snowplows really do make the difference for me. I think they look absolutely 10 times more menacing with the snowplows on them. But unfortunately, as I did mention earlier, it does limit your running if you were to put snowplows on both sides. Hopefully somebody's got an option out there for coupling up using snowplows still, but I do think it's a bit of a short-sighted move that you're essentially limited by the fact that removing those couplings to put the snowplow on, you are unable to pull trains, which is quite sad. For analog running, you are able to flick these switches underneath the locomotive to power the headlights for each side. So one would be the turbine side, and the other would be the non-turbine side. You can just switch those on and off as you please to run the loco. Right, here we go. Dounreay on the track now, and this is pretty exciting. Now, I've already tried to program her, and I think I've made a mistake in the programming. I don't think this lies on the Bachmann decoder by any means, but I'm unable to change her from address 3 to anything else. So at this point, she's just running address 3, like any base locomotive with a DCC decoder. But let's get this going by switching on some of her lights. So I'm going to press function 0 to switch on her main lights with an accompanying light switch sound, which is quite cool. Then I'm going to switch on her high intensity beam, which is function 15. Now I'm going to switch on her cab lights. And the final thing to do will be to switch on her engine room lights and also the tail markers. Right, so there she is, completely lit up, and essentially quite a bit of a light show, to be honest with you. It's quite impressive. Now for this next part, I'm going to turn my microphone around so that you can hear all the noises that comes with the locomotive, and I'll just put in some subtitles so you can see what the different functions are. So right off the bat, this locomotive is incredibly impressive. What I've shown you now is just a sort of slice of what's available. Once the locomotive's under motion and gets going, there's all sorts of different sounds that start coming alive. There's different horns, different two-tones, the flange squeal changes depending on the speed. Everything just starts coming alive and this locomotive starts feeling really, really real. And it's mind-blowing to me just to have all the lights and the sounds combined together to create a really authentic experience. It's absolutely fantastic. Let me bring her up now. And listen to that thrash, it sounds so good. And I love the fact that you can just press 2 on the controller and it'll break. It'll slow itself right down, so you've got utter control. Whereas other DCC locos that I've driven, you have to turn back the controller. Now, maybe there's a way around that. I'll have to figure it out at some point. But I love the fact that all these sounds start coming alive once you're using it. The flange squeal increases in terms of volume and its consistency when you're at higher speeds, for example. I mean, that's just brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. And when you let off the power as you come up or down a hill, whatever you're doing, the turbo whistle and the reduction in engine power, it sounds alive. This thing is incredible. I'm absolutely blown away by modern locomotives. I think this is just the coolest thing ever. And I mean, listen to that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well done, Bachmann. Well guys, there you have it. That is the Bachmann Class 37, absolutely exquisite model. And it's just really interesting for me to see the difference in technology between something like this and my Bachmann Class 24, which is about 10 years old or so. It's really amazing to see how technology has advanced so much. Obviously, I can see that sort of stuff on YouTube and watch guys with their new stuff. but to see it in person and run it on the layout is really, really fantastic. So 2 thumbs way up. Well done, Bachmann. It's a beautiful locomotive. I'm over the moon about it. And of course, thank you very much to my partner, Annie. I really appreciate the fact that you spent that money on me. I'm very happy with this Class 37. Now, as it is my first sort of review of a modern locomotive, I don't think I want to give it a score. I think scores can age quite poorly. And I also don't really have anything to compare it to because it's essentially my first brand new loco. So I can't say, you know, the Accurascale Class 37 is less than this or more than this. I hope that this sort of review has given you enough insight into what the locomotive is and does to help you make up your mind if you're on the fence about the two. In my opinion, absolutely fantastic. Wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm really stoked with it. So thank you very much for joining me for my first review. I hope it was good. Please be kind. I know I'm no expert by any means. As New Year approaches, I hope you guys have a fantastic New Year. Stay safe and all the best for 2024. I've got some exciting things coming for the channel and looking forward to seeing it grow and also chatting with you guys as it does. Until I see you next time, all the best, keep well, keep your engines fired and stay on track. Ciao.